So I agree with you. I want a global taxation. This is my point.
You're not hearing us.
I will, if I may.
Yeah. What we are saying is different. It's not what you're saying. You're saying is good, but it's not what you're saying. We are not saying that we continue to have what the taxes France is paying, the taxes Kenya is paying in the current setup. Those are national issues. We need a financial transaction tax at a global level where even countries like Kenya pay. We do not want anything for free. You will pay more eventually because you have a bigger economy. We will pay commensurate to our economy. And we want those resources controlled not by IMF and World Bank. Because IMF and World Bank, you have the final say. We don't have no say. We want another organization of equals.
This video that we are going to react is when Kenyan President William Ruto had a sober mind. It's when William Ruto, the president of Kenya, had ambition of Africa. It's when William Ruto had some views, good views about Africa. Let's watch this one and then we're going to react about it.
Thank you very much, Macron, and thank you for daring to call us to this meeting. I'm told it was How Dare You conference. But in any case, we're here. Let me just speak to this in two ways. Number one, I have had my sister Kristalina and Bangra, and we have excellent relations with the World Bank and IMF from Kenya. And these people have been incredibly of assistance, and we sincerely appreciate it. But I am also aware that both Kristalina and Bangra have a job to do, and they have people they report to, called shareholders, and they don't have the final word. The final word rests with somebody else. And that is why we are almost all of us speaking the same language, because we seem to be on the same corner. There are people who are not sitting here, yet they call the shots. Now, we have a situation, and let me speak from the perspective of Kenya, our continent in Africa, and the global south. We need emergency liquidity. We need debt relief. We need urgently new money, with urgency, with scale. That's our situation. How are we going to get that in the current situation? Listening to Guterres this morning, we get development resources 8 times more expensively than others. We have inadequate resources, and it takes forever to access it. So how do we, how do we make meaning of this summit that my brother Emmanuel has put together? Our position is that if you want to get debt relief, emergency liquidity, and new money together, let us live here having agreed on one thing, that, like Guterres has said, let's look for 500 billion new money. But if we are going to distribute it the way we did SDR, we will end up with nothing. SDR, we ended up with $33 billion in our continent of 1.2 billion people. Europe, with 450 million people, ended up with 5 times what we got. You heard it this morning, not from me, from the UN Secretary General, that we got 13 times less as Africans as compared to Europeans, because the whole architecture, and by the way, it was fair by the architecture, the current architecture of the financial system. But it is grossly unfair when you are looking at fairness.
So I agree with you. I want a global taxation. This is my point.
What we are saying is different. Is that what you're saying? You're saying is good, but it's not what you're saying. We are not saying that we continue to have what the taxes France is paying, the taxes Kenya is paying in the current setup. Those are national issues. We need a financial transaction tax at a global level where even countries like Kenya pay. We do not want anything for free. You will pay more eventually because you have a bigger economy. We will pay commensurate to our economy. And we want those resources controlled not by IMF and World Bank. Because IMF and World Bank, you have the final say. We don't have no say. We want another organization of equals, where you have as much say because you pay, as much as we do because we also pay. That's the organization we are looking for. And that is why we are saying we need a new financial architecture where governance, where power is not on the hands of a few people. We can agree on the governance of the institution. We can agree on the sharing of power so that all of us have access to resources that go to making sure, number one, renewable energy. We invest in decarbonization. Number two, adaptation, mitigation, smart agriculture. Number three, restoring our planet, restoring our biodiversity, and making sure our carbon sinks work. This is what we are saying, and we would appreciate a little understanding. We want to be, we are talking the normal. If we continue talking the normal, Emmanuel, we will never solve this problem. Things are not going forward, they're going backwards. Tokenism, installment will not solve this problem. We have a much bigger problem than the installment we are discussing here will solve. You're not hearing us.
I will, if I may,
Yeah.
I will answer you in 2 words to conclude. No, but
And let me just finish one more. When Ajay was saying 1 to 5 or 1 to 1, who is 1 and who is 5? Private sector versus who is 1 and who is 5?
$5 of private sector mobilization for every dollar of money that comes in.
5 from private.
Surely, Ajay. How do you persuade the private sector to bring their money for public good? Private sector is driven by profit.
Welcome back. Welcome, kings and queens. I am the Kenyan Beast. Of course, we are doing it the African way every day, every time. Now, this is William Ruto. 1 year ago, William Ruto has been in power for maybe 2 years and a half or up to 3 years maybe. And this is 1 year ago when he had assumed the power. And from the way he was talking, the speeches he was giving out those days, it was speeches. Even the speeches he's giving right now, it is good speech. But you know what? Africa will not be built by speech. Africa will not continue by speech. The people of Africa will not be out of poverty by good speeches. We need actions. We need all these things African leaders speak to be on the ground. Let us try to put them on action so that we can see the results. Because this is William Ruto, and he was boldly talking to France President Macron. Here is 1 year ago. So this video I'm reacting, it's for 1 year ago. I'm trying to bring here the Ruto of that day and the Ruto of today. That's why I was saying this is when William Ruto was sober. And everyone in Africa was clapping, standing ovation for this guy. Because in this speech or in this discussion they were talking, he dared France president, and he was talking about how the world can come with a better way of taxing, better way of doing business, better way of getting resources, and how Africa is being benefiting from their resources. They were talking about how Africa will not be controlled by some few groups or some few organizations like the World Bank and IMF. He was talking about how we can be fair 50-50, both the white supremacy and the black people or Africa can have 50-50, accessing to the resources, selling their resources. He was talking about the issue of tokenism. Africa, we are surviving in tokens, and yet the white people are taking away our whole resources, yet we are surviving in tokens, gifts, small leaky, like when I've been saying this, when a country like China is coming here in Africa, they are doing good things, building roads, building ports, and they are giving you 5 years to repay. When you don't repay, maybe they take the port, or they collect tax on that railway gauge, on that road for 5 years. They recover their money. That's what they are doing. And that's like tokenism. It's just they are coming in a way that our leaders cannot see like it's a bad idea, but it's definitely a bad idea. It will come a time we will lose every things we own as a country in Africa. Now, William Ruto was talking about how they can get our resources and we can get what we need from them, or they can get our resources and how they can pay. Right now, they are controlling the price. IMF and World Bank are controlling the price of these resources they are getting from. That's why you get countries are poor and yet they export a lot. That's you get countries like Congo. Most of the West countries, they are exporting more, but they are living in poverty. The real farmer, the real miner is living in poverty because the businessmen are controlling the price. We need to find a way when the buyer and the seller, all of them will agree and come together in how they control this business. For example, for me, a farmer has to control the price of cotton, price of maize, price of beans, price of rice. A miner has to control the price of gold, price of copper, price of uranium. Not the people who are buying to control it. Let the market control it. This is the thing of controlling the price of these things, or how they are getting their minerals, or how they are getting their resources. It's more than exploiting, because they will oppress the country they are getting that products, and they will tell the country, you know what, your country is at war. Now, we cannot get this at this price because of insecurities, because on this and this. And let's take this is the price we'll give you, and there's nothing you can do, because you need to sell that thing so that you'll eat. That's one of the things that William Ruto was talking about, tokenism. To look forward on how we will create a stable, and we will create a channel and a medium where all of us, two parties, can meet in point. We don't want Africa to get things for free. We want Africa to get the things they want in return of these our resources. Somebody told me it's just like going to supermarket. You go with money, you get serious. It's not that a supermarket is doing favor to you, or me, the buyer, I'm doing favor to you. If you don't have money, you don't get your thing. People with money will come. If you don't have money, you won't get your resources. People with money will come and get the resources. If you don't have the technology that we want, you will not get our resources. If you don't have the people who have it will get it. And I'm very happy that Burkina Faso has Ibrahim Traore has created the first bank, gold bank in Burkinabe, to store their minerals. And by doing so, they will be adding value to their minerals. By doing so, they are going to control what you want from Burkina Faso. You know? Just it's like how maize farmers have cereals. They store their maize, and when the price goes up, they're gonna sell. William Ruto had a sober mind. If the things that Ruto is speaking here can be actualized, can be materialized, can be put in action, Africa will grow. Africa will go forward. But because of issue of tokenism, the issue of we are gifting you, the issue of we are giving you something small, we don't want anything, that is a disaster. Why don't you want anything? Why are you helping me? Why? There is something you are targeting, but there is a way you are coming. That's why we need to wake up. And I wonder what made Ruto to change. I wonder how he came to change in a way that he does not go by his own words. He does not actualize his own words. By the way, we as black people, we were thinking Ruto now will be the greatest man to serve as the president of Kenya because he has superb idea. Splendid. But because of the system, we are suffering, and he is taking us into deeper shit. Very different direction. The one he's talking about and the way he's taking us, it's very different. That's why we need to revive. We need to recheck. We need people who talk and act. We just don't need speeches from the presidents of Africa. Now he was talking about energy, how to installation, something like that. Africa, we have a way we can create, power from our dams. We have water, we have everything. But the knowledge, the technology, I don't know what is always the problem, that if you need to make a dam, we call the white people to come and help us. That's where we are going wrong as Africa. So this is Great Minds, and I want you to tell me in the comment section, what do you think about the speech of William Ruto? What do you think about his ideas when he actualized? Can it get better? And tell me, what do you think went wrong? Why do you think Mr. William Ruto is acting differently from the way he was talking? Is it that he has been swallowed by the system? Because IMF is still controlling how things are being run in Kenya. IMF is being controlling how things are being run in Africa. The World Bank is controlling. They give you loan, they give you token, they tell you, Mr. William Ruto, you can take this, do something, but no, don't build this, do this and this and this, keep some in your pocket. I don't know. We need to check on that. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think? This is the African way, and we are talking about Africa. We are talking about black people. We are talking about Caribbeans. Feel free to comment down there. Please, you can subscribe, like, you can join the membership, be my member, and God will bless you. Until next time, peace be with you.